Mirror's Edge Catalyst is a follow-up game to the 2008 game Mirror's Edge. Here, we follow Faith Connors and her attempts to overthrow the evil corporations that are ruling over Glass City. Faith is a runner, a person who refuses to live under the constant monitoring and control of the grid. She and the other runners form a secret cabal, living their lives on the rooftops of the city while trying to avoid the corporation's enforcers, the T.B.O.G personnel. After spending a year in prison, Faith is released, thanks in no small part to underground boss Dogen, and now has a debt to work off for him. Along with this, she also reconnects with her old friends and resumes her efforts to overthrow the power structure. Despite all of that, the truth is the characters and the story is really not the strength of this game. It is your typical rebels fighting in a dystopian future. We have seen hundreds of these, and we are fans of it, but there is nothing in this story that stands out. The characters are also pretty generic, including Faith herself. The strength of the game is the free running and the parkour. Glass City is a pretty environment with its slick and polished design. It also presents a rather large area for you to explore and run through. As a runner, you can choose which objective you would like to accomplish. As you take off, you can use your runner vision to help guide you. Certain areas will be marked in red, indicating where you need to go. But one neat thing here is that you don't always have to go that way. Sometimes there are multiple paths that you can take, and some are quicker than the main one indicated. So the game does encourage exploration. While moving, your basic abilities are jumping, sliding, and running. As you complete missions and collect items, you will gain more experience points, which will allow you to upgrade your movement, like getting mid-air turns or dodge rolls to break your falls. You can also get new gear, which will allow you to swing to other buildings. For example, the free running in this game can become quite exhilarating. As you move, you want to keep the flow going and not mess up. From sliding under obstacles to wall running, vaulting, soaring past the edge of a building, and going splat. Shit! Yeah, not gonna lie, that'll happen sometimes. Also, there are those times where judging the distance between the place we were standing and an object we wish to grab becomes quite imprecise, to the point that frustration did occur. Shit! But for the most part, the parkour in this game is done really well. In addition, though, on a few occasions we did run into a couple of glitches here and there.
Outside the main story, you can choose to partake in different objectives that are spread out through the city. When you come across individuals, you can choose to deliver certain items for them. Many of them are fragile, so not only do you have to complete the mission in the time allotted, but you have to make sure that you don't take a hard tumble along the way. Speaking of the time limit, these missions will only allow you just enough time to complete the task, assuming you don't screw up along the way. So you may find yourself doing several of them many times in order to get them right. Now throughout the city, you can do several time trials where you can do a race. And you can do these time trials as many times as you want to improve your time score. If you haven't noticed, most of the stuff you do in this game involves running around. I mean, duh, right? You can also hack into billboards, steal computer chips, and disable devices to help thwart the T.B.O.G. Speaking of the T.B.O.G, you will run afoul of them quite often and be forced to put up your dukes. Now the game will allow you to upgrade your attack moveset with your experience points. You can perform traverse attacks, where by getting a running start, you can take out enemies in one blow. While free running, you can build up your focus shield that will give you some extra protection during battles. But ultimately, the combat felt a little stale. To win battles, you basically just dodge out of the way, mix up your melee attacks until you take down a group. Pretty simple. The combat is not bad, and we give them credit for trying to make it as enjoyable as the running, but these sections just do not measure up to the environmental hopping. Now the game doesn't have a traditional multiplayer. Well, not really, sort of. It has this thing called social play, which will allow players to affect each other's games. For example, players can race against each other in time trials. This year, we here at the Brotherhood of Gaming.com have had a pretty good time with the first-person games, like Far Cry Primal and Doom. Admittedly though, we did not enjoy Mirror's Edge Catalyst as much as those offerings. The game is lacking in a few areas, and there's really not a whole lot to do other than running around. However, that part of the game is indeed done very well. The freedom of sprinting and leaping over objects can become a real joy. So in the end, that was probably this game's main job, and it did nail it. We feel that you can wait for a price drop on this one. If you see it at a game store at a discounted price, like $25 or $30, we say it'd be a good purchase.
If you're looking for something a little bit different in the first-person genre, other than the shooters, then you might actually want to give this one a try. You know, if they did something like this with Sonic the Hedgehog, it probably would function just like this game.
Oh, come on, man. A first-person Sonic game? Next thing you're going to tell me is they're going to do a first-person Resident Evil.
Well, guys, there you go. There's another review from the Brotherhoodofgaming.com. I've been your host, William Morris.
I'm your co-host, Eugene Morris.
Now, before you go, please be sure to hit that big red subscribe button that's right underneath you. It helps us out a lot, and it keeps you guys coming back for more. I mean, why wouldn't you? And also, there's the social media, which you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, all sorts of really cool things that are up and coming. And also, look right over there, playlists. We've got game reviews, Tales of Retrospectives, speedruns, Sega vs. SNES, everything you could possibly want out of a video game channel, the best video game channel ever. So, until next time, keep on gaming, and we'll see you in the next video.